Good evening, and welcome to the 16th annual Nantucket Scholar announcement. For those of you who don't know me, I am Tom Bresette, Chief Operating Officer at the Nantucket Golf Club and Executive Director of the club's foundation. Thank you for joining us. Although I think we all wish we could have attended this event in person tonight, we want to emphasize that our first and highest priority has been and will continue to be the safety and well-being of all the students and committee members who participated in this year's program. We look forward to coming together next year at the club when things hopefully return to normal. As I have said many times before, this is a night of gratitude. So to start off, I would like to thank some people on behalf of the foundation for making this program such a success. First and foremost, I would like to acknowledge and thank the board of directors of the Nantucket Golf Club. Without their incredible vision and support since the foundation's inception in 2002, we would not be here this evening to make this announcement. And thank you to the members and friends of the Nantucket Golf Club and our incredibly generous sponsors who have contributed in so many different ways to the success of our annual fundraising event in August, the Nantucket Children's Charity Classic. Last year, we were forced to cancel the dinner and live auction part of the Charity Classic due to the pandemic. Once again, this group stepped up and we were still able to raise $2.2 million. And to date, our Charity Classic event has raised almost $33 million over the last 19 years for the benefit of youth on Nantucket. Truly amazing. Thank you for your extraordinary support. I would like to especially thank all of the parents, families, teachers, coaches, and friends of each of our 34 applicants in this year's program. Your contributions have had a significant impact in developing and nurturing these children into mature and responsible adults. This past year has been challenging for all of us, but especially for our young adults in their senior year of high school. And they have persevered. Here I go. Thanks to each of you for your determined and continued support of our Nantucket youth. Collectively, you have been a part of raising amazing young men and women who are the future leaders of our communities. And I can attest, the future looks very bright. I would also like to thank the Scholar Review Committee. These 8 individuals have sacrificed their time and once again, worked hard all year long to get to this point. There is absolutely no way this program gets completed without their tireless commitment. It has been a pleasure to work with them. They are the Foundation Data Coordinator for all past and present scholars, who handles all correspondence for this scholar program and the Vocational Scholarship Program, Susan McFarland. Principal at Nantucket High School, Mandy Vassell. Retired Superintendent of Nantucket Public Schools, Michael Cozort. Owner of Lanquedoc Inn and Bistro, Alan Cunha. School counselor and counseling department team leader at Nantucket High School, Courtney Foster. Spanish teacher and world language department team leader at Nantucket High School, Kathleen Hickson. English teacher and English department team leader at Nantucket High School, Elizabeth Reinemo. And the school nurse at Nantucket High School and one of the very first Nantucket scholars, class of 2006, Kelsey Perkins. Thank you, Scholar Review Committee, for being awesome. This evening, 2 Nantucket scholars will be announced, but this night is also about celebrating these 10 individuals and what they have been able to achieve over their scholastic career. Each one of them deserves to be here this evening, and we are honored to recognize an incredible group of students and scholars. Kamoy, Waverly, Rhys, Maisie, Isabella, Ruby, Katie, John Carl, Brian, and Cammie. You are outstanding individuals, and it has been my utmost pleasure getting to know you over these last 6 months. Congratulations again on being a Nantucket Scholar finalist. In recognition of your extraordinary accomplishments, and as a token, nope, I'm not done. Excuse me. In recognition of the extraordinary accomplishments and as a token of our deep appreciation for participating in this process, the foundation will provide each of you with an off to college NGC gift bag, which will be hand delivered by yours truly next week. As you all know, we excel at gift bag giving. You will love these bags. Before I make the final announcement, Mr. Cozort would like to recognize each finalist personally.
Good evening, scholars, parents, staff, and community of Nantucket. Thank you, Mr. Bresette. As the chair of the review committee and executive director of the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, you, Mr. Bresette, make this incredible and generous scholarship program what it is. A challenging yet fun experience that transforms lives. Members of the Nantucket Golf Club and its foundation, you are giving a gift that keeps on giving. You are truly champions for children. This year, we started with 34 talented applicants. Through a challenging process of interviews, activities, forums, and presentations, we have selected 10 finalists whom you will meet tonight. They are magnificent representatives of our senior class and the community of Nantucket. I think I can safely speak for the committee when I say that as we reflect upon these young men and women, we are impressed by them and appreciative of their contributions to our school and community. You are such dedicated scholars and accomplished young men and women. In a day and age when society often bemoans the behavior of its youth, you remind us of the greater percentage of caring, committed young adults and give us hope for the future of our world. Congratulations and thank you and your parents for what you have become and what you will become. And now to the bios. As I introduce each finalist, please be front and center on Zoom as I share a brief summary of your many accomplishments. Camellia Barnett. The review committee agreed that the best way to describe this candidate in one word is infectious. Her smile, her enthusiasm, and her energy just light up a room when she walks in. Mr. Bucheri shared that it is almost impossible to go an hour without Kamoy making you laugh. She used TikTok in her introduction video to share her passion for singing, dance, and self-expression. This love of expression also comes shining through in her cheerleading and in basketball, both activities she has participated in for all 4 years of her high school career. Kamoy is more than just smiles and enthusiasm. She is a strong student, achieving National Honor Society induction, and is dedicated to serving her class in her role as a senior class student council representative, as well as participating in Black Lives Matter and A Safe Place. Mrs. Pamela Blois, a mentor of Kamoy's, noted her active role in her church community, displaying a deep faith, great humility, and compassion for others. Kamoy is committed to making a difference in her school and community, hoping to become a therapist to help children face challenges and become the best they can be. She even suggested in her autobiography that she might eventually replace Dr. Phil with a TV show of her own addressing mental health issues and supporting foster children and immigrants. Kamoy will be attending either Boston University or the University of Delaware next fall. Please join me in honoring Camellia Barnett. Waverly Branigan. Waverly is the definition of a true scholar athlete. She demonstrates excellence in the classroom, where she is in the top 5 in her class and a National Honor Society member, and has earned distinction as a swimmer and superb soccer player. Throughout the scholar process, she consistently shared her deep and abiding appreciation for her family and heritage, which has shaped who she is. She also noted her love for our island and stated that it has been her greatest teacher, filled with knowledge and life-changing lessons. Even her autobiography, Everything Comes in Waves, echoed the importance of staying connected to family and the island, as she reflected, and I quote, "The weight lifted off my shoulders as I entered the harbor returning to Nantucket." Waverly is talented in many ways. She's an accomplished pianist and photographer, fitting both into a busy schedule with Spanish Club, Veritas, and serving as altar and as a lector in her church. One of her employers cited her impeccable integrity, as well as her unique talent for thinking outside of the box. Despite all her successes, Waverly was quick to point out that she has learned from failure, like having to take the driver's road test 5 times. Waverly wowed the committee when she stated that, in a figurative sense, I am already a Nantucket Scholar. Waverly has been accepted at several schools, including Syracuse University, but is still undecided as to which school she will attend. Please join me in honoring Waverly Branigan. Rhys Burns. Rhys Burns is a true intellectual, despite the fact that she identifies herself with the fictional character Buddy the Elf. Presently ranked 2nd in her class, she was elected to the National Honor Society as a junior. Mr. Gregorick stated she is one of the most academically gifted students he has encountered in his teaching career. She impressed this member of the committee when she referred to George Washington's farewell address when answering a question about the stalemate of political parties today. Rhys clearly thinks about where she has been and where she is going in her life. In her video introduction to the committee, she took us on a tour of her room, pointing out her time capsule, a travel log of places she has visited, a vision board to help her see where she may be in the years to come, and notes to her future self that she can revisit when she gets where she's going. Right now, that future appears to include a career as a pediatric surgeon, a direction that has grown from her love for science. She shared that is the foundation of who she is intellectually and as a person, because there is no finish line within this body of knowledge. Rhys credits her mom as her inspiration, to the point that in her autobiography, The Chronicles of Rhys, she shared her goal to be a great surgeon and a great mom, as they are equally important. We have no doubt she will be a success at both. Rhys plans to attend Bucknell next year. Please join me in honoring Rhys Burns. Maisie Cocker. Maisie may be best known as a singer and performing arts star, having wowed us in the starring role of the musical Mary Poppins. But we learned that there are many dimensions to this talented young woman. She is also a 3-sport athlete, cross country, swim, sailing, and Veritas co-editor. Maisie shared that her favorite candy, Willy Wonka's everlasting gobstopper, is representative of the many layers of her personality and never-ending search for a sprinkle of magic. Maisie thrives on her busy schedule, and her employer noted that she seems to flourish amidst chaos. This was reinforced for the committee when she shared a dilemma she faced when trying to make two conflicting theater schedules come together, which, of course, she did. During the pandemic, she became an avid stargazer. This led her to discover that the corner table was the center of her universe because it has a magnetism and peacefulness that kept drawing me back. It has been a venue in which to perform or just people watch and interact with our eclectic community. Maisie was recognized by her peers for her talent and desire, which was seconded by Ms. Martineau, who spoke of her passion for everything she undertakes, from academics to athletics, as well as extracurricular activities or social justice issues. Maisie is quick to point out a long list of mentors who have supported and advised her, including her mom, peers, and teachers. Maisie is still deciding between Providence College and Skidmore College. Please join me in honoring Maisie Cocker. Isabella Catone. The next candidate is described by everyone as hardworking, kind, and generous. Such is her compassion that when asked what makes her cry, she quickly responded, well, everything. Bella credits her brother Ian for helping her hone her sense of humor, flexibility, and empathy, and thanks him for teaching her more than anyone else could, and arguably more than anyone else will. Mrs. Thanet shared that Bella radiates fun and warmth and is one of those rare students who has learned at a young age what is truly important. That's consistent with the slogan of a funny face, which she shared with us. The review committee smiled as a 91-year-old version of Bella read a page from her autobiography, No Straight Lines, urging the reader to heed advice, to take worries in stride. Bella has countless activities in which she is involved, including soccer, swim team, Veritas, and the STAR program. During the pandemic, she has also become an accomplished baker, as she demonstrated in her introduction video. She baked what seemed to be perfect pink macaron, which I might add, the committee is still looking forward to tasting. And yes, Bella, we loved your slippers. True to her character and inspired by her mentor, Shelley Dyer, Bella plans to study to be an occupational therapist to help injured or disabled students and patients recover or develop through the therapeutic use of everyday activities. She will be attending the University of New Hampshire next year. Please join me in honoring Isabella Catone. Ruby Dupont, another talented young woman. It seems that Ruby Dupont can do anything she tries. Academics, athletics, music, art. She appears to be gifted at them all. In the top 10 in her class, she is described as a joy to teach. She has served as senior class vice president and been selected as captain of her sports teams. Ruby also finds time to volunteer in school and community events, such as the Harvey Foundation, the Nantucket Project, Holidays for Heroes, and at the Nantucket Cottage Hospital Thrift Shop. In her spare time, she has explored graphic design, woodworking, ceramics, and guitar, a true Renaissance woman. Ruby is so accomplished and poised that it surprised the review committee when she shared several self-deprecating accounts of her experiences from struggling in her first tryout with Olympic Development Program soccer to stage fright in her first public singing opportunity before a large crowd, and her recent foray into different art mediums. In her autobiography, Leading from the Bench, she recounted the journey of the NHS girls hockey program from an 0-12 first season to getting their first win in the second season against Martha's Vineyard. We were touched that Ruby's takeaway from this was not the wins and losses, but rather how much fun and pride she and her teammates experienced, concluding that she wouldn't have traded that experience for a state championship. Ruby is headed to Northeastern next year, where she will undoubtedly partner with her brother in many experiences, much as she did when she sang a duet with him in a showcase that brought down the house in her sophomore year. Please join me in honoring Ruby Dupont. Catherine Katie Genthner. How many Nantucket scholars are equally comfortable making a batch of ratatouille and filleting a bluefish? Well, Katie Genthner has those skills and more. Presently, third in her class, she combines scholarship, leadership, she's been a class officer for all 4 years, athletics, dance, and a host of other activities. She was referred to by one of her teachers as one of the stars on our island, an ray of sunshine even on the darkest day. Thus, it was prophetic when Carrie shared with us that if she were a candy, she would be a starburst. Her reasoning was that it takes some hard work to reach that maximum flavor satisfaction, drawing the analogy to the hard work it has taken to reach her goals. In her introduction video, Katie appeared in a chef's outfit and, being an unabashed Disney fanatic, whipped up some ratatouille in recognition of that movie. In her college essay, she described how she performed on stage, in this case, the wharf, as she filleted a fresh-caught bluefish while she maintained a patter for the tourists who quickly gathered around to marvel at her skills and ask a number of questions. We have no doubt that Katie hooked her audience with her knowledge and engaging personality, just as the bluefish had been hooked earlier. In her autobiography, Katie teased us by saying, "You won't believe what happens next." Well, we won't be surprised by anything that Katie does, as we believe she is destined for great things at Villanova next year and beyond. Please join me in honoring Catherine Katie Genthner. John Carl McGrady. Two words go hand in hand when thinking of our next candidate: intellectual and unconventional. John Carl took 8 advanced placement classes, achieving an A in each one to date. He is a member of the National Honor Society and has served as president of the local chapter this year. The committee was impressed with the thought that John Carl put into his responses throughout the process, and recognized he seemed to revel in sharing his oft nonconformist views and the perception of him as a bit unconventional. One of the profound insights he shared was his realization that being bad at something is an awful reason not to do it. John Carl loves to debate, and he's an ardent activist on environmental issues, gun safety, and politics in general. He is a writer. He has written short stories, poems, plays, 4 full novels, and of course, several political essays and editorials. His first novel, finished in the 8th grade, did not, as he recounted, achieve critical acclaim, but it did make him a better writer. He also creates film, speaks at rallies, and uses Veritas to share his views because, as he says, someone has to start the difficult conversations. John Carl doesn't need the spotlight, but because of his involvement and passion, the spotlight tends to find him. Best of all, as Mrs. Branigan shared, he is a serious student who uses his intelligence for good, and he represents the change that this world needs. As he goes on to study at Williams College next year, he will undoubtedly further develop his understandings and expand his worldview, and may indeed be the change this country needs. Please join me in honoring John Carl McGrady. Brian Nolasco Ramirez. Our next candidate interestingly credits Pokemon for helping him discover who he is and encouraging him to stop acting like someone else in order to be accepted. Brian Nolasco Ramirez adopted the game lyrics, "I want to be the very best like no one ever was." It was in middle school that he truly started questioning who he wanted to be and decided to change his attitude and his relationships. It obviously worked. As one teacher said, he makes everyone around him happier with his attitude. And another described him as someone with quiet integrity who leads by example. Brian shared that he stands on the shoulders of giants, his parents, from whom he inherited his work ethic and gained the understanding excuse me, and gain the understanding that you get from life what you put into it. Because, as he states, excuse me, because, as he states, it would be a disservice to my parents if I didn't push myself to be better. He has dedicated himself to doing just that. As a result, he's joined clubs, Interact as a favorite, gotten involved in culinary arts, and challenged himself with a more difficult advanced placement courses than he thought he could or would do when he was a freshman. He now stands in the top 10 of his class academically, all while consistently putting in hours with his family's construction business since the age of 14. Brian has been accepted at several schools, including Boston University and Wentworth Institute of Technology, and he has yet to decide which he will attend. Please join me in honoring Brian Nolasco Ramirez. Cameron "Cammy" Stroner. Our last finalist to introduce is one who is recognized as a leader of the class, which is clear when one realizes she has been president of her class for 4 straight years. In addition, she's a 3-sport athlete, Veritas writer, and a member of Spirit Club, Spanish Club, and National Honor Society. All of her involvement in her school community is impressive, but perhaps mentoring is what best describes her. Mentoring has been a consistent theme in Cammy's life, as she shared what her mentor, Denny Duran, has meant to her. That role model was so powerful in her life, it inspired her to be a mentor to other young children on Nantucket. She has made an impact on Nantucket's youth through her work with the Harvey Foundation meal program, summer work for the community school's Adventure Day program, homework club at the middle school, and as a youth sports referee. Cammy has shown her resilience, and despite growing up under challenging circumstances, she stated that she has never felt alone on Nantucket. Consequently, she's committed to demonstrating to other children that not every story may have a happy beginning, and it's up to an individual to complete their story in a way that makes them who they are, not what their past is. That is consistent with the slogan that she told the committee she tries to live by. Negative thoughts don't make a positive life. Cammy credits her grandfather as someone who makes her laugh and inspires her. Cammy is presently deciding between Fairfield University and St. Anselm College. Please join me in honoring Cameron "Cammy" Stroner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. This is still my favorite night of the year. Great job. The following can be said about each and every one of these young men and women. The Nantucket Scholar is a student who has established a pattern of academic and personal success at Nantucket High School. Personal attributes reflect strength of character, which includes honesty, integrity, morality, and responsibility. The Nantucket Scholar demonstrates outstanding citizenship, emulated by a cooperative attitude, spirit of adventure, and enthusiastic effort. This student is a positive influence on school peers and is involved in varied extracurricular activities. The Nantucket Scholar is indeed an elite student who meets and maintains rigid academic standards and strives for personal challenge. The Nantucket Scholar takes pride in all accomplishments and works diligently toward the goal of attaining a superior education. This outstanding student is eminently qualified to pursue scholarly work at institutions of higher learning. The Nantucket Scholar also is an individual who can communicate and demonstrate a process for giving back to Nantucket and the world community, and inspire and motivate others to do the same. The 2021 Nantucket Scholars will receive a scholarship covering the cost of tuition and fees for 4 years at their chosen school or university. It is my pleasure this evening, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Nantucket Golf Club and the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, to present our 2021 Nantucket Scholars. John Carl McGrady. Congratulations. And Cameron Stroner. Congratulations, John Carl and Cameron.
Oh my God, that's amazing. No freaking way. And it's, wow.
Well deserved. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to everyone who helped out putting this evening's program together. And thank you for all who watched. Thank you, NCTV. Stay safe, be well. Good night.